Today I will review the associative property of addition so that I can apply it to multiplication, and I have it when I can identify and write associative property statements. So if you remember from the beginning of the year when we first worked with the associative property, it looked a lot like this, where we have the same expression on either side of the equal sign, kind of like an equality, and the numbers stay the same and in the same order. So in this one it's 4 plus 3 plus 1 equals 4 plus 3 plus 1. So the numbers have stayed the same and they've been in the same order. Now the big difference is that the parentheses have moved. In this case it goes from the front over the front two numbers, and in this case it's going to go over the back two numbers. Now the associative property for multiplication is the exact same thing. The big difference is instead of plus signs you're going to have multiplication signs. So in our first example we have here, this would not be an example of the associative property because I've got 7 times 6 times 3, and I've got 7 times 3 times 6. While my parentheses did move from over the first two factors to the second two factors, the 6 and the 3 have changed position. In my third example I've got here, 8 times 4 times 2 equals 8 times 4 times 2. Well, that's not an associative property because the parentheses have stayed over the factors of 4 and 2 this entire time. And if we come down to our last example, we've got 7 times 8 times 6, which if you're paying attention, you can see that those are my favorite facts, and 7 times 8 times 6. And I put the parentheses around the factors of 8 and 6, and then in the other one the parentheses around the factors 7 and 8. So this is really where the associative property comes into play here, because I might think that it's faster to do 8 times 6 and then multiply that by 7, or you might think that it's 7 times 8 is faster and then multiply that by 6. You'll get more into that in upper grades, but this is just introducing the associative property to you. So on your pause and solve here, I would like you to write the other side of this expression. So please pause your video now and do your work. Alright, let's come back together and see how well you did. So I know my factors are going to stay the same. So 4 times 6 times 7. And I see that my parentheses are around my first two factors of 4 and 6 on the left side of my expression. So on this side, it's going to have to be around the back two factors of 7 and 8, or 6 and 7. So that's really all there is to it. You take the parentheses and you move them. The factors stay in the same order and the exact same thing. So pretty short video for you tonight. What I'm going to ask you to do if you bring back to school is which of the following are examples of the associative property of multiplication, why or why not. So make sure if you think A is, you would tell me why. If you don't think it is, you tell me why not. So for A, B, C, and D, I'm looking for a yes or a no, and I'm also looking for a brief explanation of why. So I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will be checking this in the morning.